You ready for more? You sure you ready? We bring to you the Minister for International Business, Trade and Commerce out of Barbados from the Democratic Labour Party. He's also the General Secretary of the Democratic Labour Party of Barbados. Put your hands together and welcome with a loud Labour voice, Mr. Donville Inniss out of Barbados.
Thank you. Walking up. DJ, that music is from Barbados, please. Not only from Barbados, but it's also my good friend and my cousin Red Plastic Bag. Something's happening. All right, Labour. What's happening, Labour? Good evening, good evening, good evening. It's really great to be here in Dominica, in the Commonwealth of Dominica, here to celebrate your 50th annual conference. I want to start by bringing you greetings from the Honorable Founder Stroke, Prime Minister and political leader of the Democratic Labour Party, as well as all of the family of the Democratic Labour Party, who, like you, celebrate their 50th anniversary this year as well. We had our conference a few weeks ago. I want to bring you greetings as well from all of those Dominicans, first, second, and third generation in Barbados, and all of Barbados who, of course, celebrate with you here in the Labour Party. Honorable Roosevelt Scott, your political leader, your Prime Minister, and my good friend, Mr. Scott, members of the Cabinet, members of the Labour Party family here, distinguished guests, those of the diplomatic corps who, of course, continue to give us great support. Good afternoon to all of you. There is indeed a great sense of excitement here in Dominica today. When I left the hotel to take the drive up here, I asked the driver if elections are on. I could not believe the sea of red that presented itself as I drove along. And this tells me that you are ready. It tells me that you have a leader in the government that cares about you, that knows where it is taking you, and that you know where you want to go and you know who will take you there. It tells me that you are happy with Roosevelt Scott. It tells me that you are happy with the Dominica Labour Party. Are you? Well, I promise not to detain you too long because I know you want to hear from all of them here. But I want to say to you that I've journeyed over here not only to bring greetings from the Democratic Labour Party, where I was recently elected as the General Secretary, but I also wanted to see firsthand and to learn a little bit about how Roosevelt Scott and the Dominica Labour Party have done it. How is it that you have improved your success at the polls time after time? How is it that the political leader has been able to stick so close to his people? I'm here to learn as well what it takes to keep winning over and over again. And I know that the Dominica Labour Party is marching towards his full successor term in elections. But I'm also here, of course, I want to caution all of us not to take anything for granted. Please do not take success for granted. I say that because as I travel these islands, there appear from time to time to be a reluctance and sometimes a recalcitrance in accepting that these islands are orphans in the true sense. We are on our own in the Caribbean. Yes, we are all members of various regional and multinational organizations, but when it comes down to the nitty-gritty, we each have to row our own canoe. And Roosevelt Scott has been rowing that canoe well here in Dominica. We each have to devise a formula for overcoming the various challenges that being small and vulnerable present to each one of our islands. We each have to devise ways and means of balancing fiscal responsibility with the needs of social and infrastructural advancement. And let me say that I'm satisfied that my good friend Gaston Brown knows how to do that in Antigua as well. And I want to wish publicly Gaston and his entire team all the best in their coming elections. I know victory will be yours. Now we need, of course, to recognize that all of this is taking place against the odds, given the global environment within which we have to operate. But you here in Dominica have been through this before. As a matter of fact, I dare say it is in your DNA. When I reflect that perhaps in the latter half of the 18th century, you were in a battle between Britain and France. So Dominica know how to wage that battle, and you know how to win. And on the Roosevelt Square, you will continue to win and succeed. Not only must we cherish progress and development, we must also optimize its potential. And what do I mean by this? Take access to education, for example. It baffles me sometimes how with so much education available, we still have too many young people roaming around. We also have, of course, not to take for granted a healthcare system that's indeed one of the better in the world. And I commend and salute the work being done by the Skerrit administration here in Dominica to improve upon access to healthcare for all Dominicans. Now, I made these observations this afternoon because I wish to get home to you the point that our development as Caribbean islands and Caribbean people is in our hands. Others may assist if they see that we are serious and we are making meaningful efforts. But the responsibility is ours to carry these islands with their diverse populations forward. No one owes any of us a favor, and no one else is genuinely concerned about these little dots on the world map. That's why I say we have to return to the guiding principles of the founders of our political parties back in the 1950s and seek to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps. And the Dominica Labour Party have been pulling Dominicans up by their bootstraps. At least once a year we each celebrate the anniversary of our attaining political independence. In the cases of both Dominica and Barbados, both milestones are recorded in November, the 3rd and the 30th, I believe. In the Caribbean, we speak to the liberating feature of independence, but I'm not sure that we all appreciate the obligation it placed on our shoulders to assume responsibility for our actions and our development. We need in these islands to begin living the vision of self-reliance and of working together as a people to make meaningful development in these islands a sustainable reality. In Dominica, you have done a remarkable job over the past 10 years or so to weather the social and economic challenges with which this region and indeed the world have had to grapple. When we look at the performance long term of Dominica, your accomplishments, Prime Minister Skerrit, are indeed admirable. You have made some very crucial foreign policy decisions that have created meaningful opportunity for development and sustainable employment. You have made some social and economic policy decisions that have guided you through turbulent waters. And as Prime Minister Skerrit themed in his budget address for this fiscal year, you in Dominica are building on the gains that you've made. The fact that Dominicans are not today migrating in droves to North America and other Caribbean countries speak volumes about the realization by many that true opportunity obtains here at home. Now I'm persuaded that even though we are separated by water, and even though we have to fashion our own individual development, Caribbean islands can accelerate development if they but deepen cooperation and collaboration one with the other. And I know that we have CARICOM, OECS, etc. here. But this evening I'm speaking of Dominican businessmen forming alliances and entering into business ventures with Barbadian businessmen. I speak here of Dominican farmers producing and Barbadian businessmen retailing organically grown fruits and vegetables from Dominica. I speak of our chefs in Barbados, creating special dishes utilizing Dominican dasheen, plantains, fruits, foods, and displaying the same against the backdrop of a colorful array of Dominican flowers. It is astonishing as I drove from your airport and saw the natural flora and fauna of Dominica, growing in the wild and adorning the sidewalks of many communities. That is the Dominica people pay thousands of dollars to come see and enjoy. And I urge all in the wider Caribbean to come and share that. These are the type of issues I see people initiating in terms of cooperation and collaboration and being meaningfully addressed. Now, I saw recently where your Prime Minister in his budget spoke of the acquisition of a cargo vessel to ply the waters of the Caribbean. And I will hope that Barbados will be one of the first port of call for that vessel. Our late Prime Minister, the Honorable David Thompson, had expressed a vision and a determination to facilitate the deepening of trade relations between our countries. And the acquisition of urgently needed transportation is a significant step in the right direction, and I salute your Prime Minister, the Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, for showing leadership on that front once again. Now I'm here this afternoon, of course, to bring greetings and of course to reinforce the very strong political relations that exist between our two governments and our two political parties. And of course, my willingness as Minister responsible for Commerce and Trade to facilitate the deepening of such relations between the Dominica and Barbadian people and between our political parties. Comrades, the Dominica Labour Party has done and will continue to do well for the people of the Commonwealth of Dominica. I witnessed your leader at work with the candidatures of Dominicans for the post of CARICOM Secretary General and Director PAHO. And you've heard others speak earlier, and others perhaps will speak after me in terms of the success of Prime Minister Skerrit and his team here in Dominica, how he's been able to transform this little nation. But I've also seen him at work throughout the region and international arena. As Minister of Health, and I want, of course, at this point to salute and recognize my good friend Julius. Where is Julius? Timothy? Yes? Your current Minister of Health. He and I would have labored quite a bit in that section of the regional health agenda. But I certainly remember during the candidature of Dr. Carissa Etienne for the post of Director of the Pan American Health Organization, your Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit once again led from in front. There is no hiding the fact that Prime Minister Skerrit wanted his compatriot elected. I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, in this great party, your Prime Minister ensured that his cell phone number showed up on the Lime and digital cell phone of every person of influence in the Caribbean as we battled to get Dr. Carissa Etienne elected. And when they all seemed to be against us for her election to the post of director, Prime Minister Skerrit made it his business to personally lobby all and sundry. I well remember speaking to him on this matter, and what impressed me most, he said, Donville, this is not just Dominica's candidate, this is CARICOM's candidate. And therefore you have a leader who truly cares about this region. So when larger countries with deep pockets were whining and dining suitors, your Prime Minister, your leader, provided a steady and comforting hands to many of us who were inspired by his determination to elect a lady from this nature isle to become the leader of the Pan American Health Organization, the most powerful health systems grouping in the entire Western Hemisphere. And she's doing an excellent job. Prime Minister, thank you once again for showing that leadership of getting Dr. Carissa Etienne elected. Now tremendously pleased this afternoon to see the number of young people, especially young men, out in their party colors and emblems. And this is a very healthy development. Indeed, I believe it borders on a phenomenon here in Dominica. If I'm not sure where in recent years I've seen so many young people so willingly come out and celebrate with their politicians. And it tells me that you have a leader who is able to transcend not only genders but generations. And therefore I encourage you to continue to give him your full support. But I wish you to know, ladies and gentlemen, as I come down the line, that there's absolutely no room for complacency on the political front. Whilst you have a fully energized and a visionary leader, he cannot do it alone. He needs all hands on deck. You have a leader who is not arrogant nor lazy. He's passionate about his people and his region. Far too often I've seen politicians and political leaders in this region get very complacent and feel a sense of entitlement for life once they tasted the sweets of political power. As a result, there's oftentimes much shock and awe when the voters remind them of where true power lies. And I wish to reiterate it. I've not seen in the leadership of the Dominica Labour Party or the leadership of the Commonwealth of Dominica any such sense of arrogance or complacency in spite of being in office for 3 terms, and this is commendable. So today, as you celebrate another annual conference, let it be a source of inspiration to work harder in your constituencies. Ensure that you have candidates who are committed to the constituency and national cause, not just to their own cause. Ensure that as ordinary members of this great party and respective constituencies, your contribution to the continuous success is by no means ordinary. You too must roll out your sleeves and slam some tar and energize supporters and voters. You need to get out there, fight hard, raise some money, and battle on towards victory. There is no magic wand in politics. There's only hard work. So members and supporters of the Dominica Labour Party, you have much to be proud about and much to celebrate today. Your government has done you, the country, and the region proud. Dominica continues to be a beacon of progress and progressive thought in the region. The Democratic Labour Party is proud of our long association with your great party. Your late leader, Rosie Douglas, addressed us back in 1998 when we were in the doldrums of opposition. And in politics, true friendship is manifested not when you're in government, but when you're in opposition. The Democratic Labour Party will be forever grateful to the Dominica Labour Party for inspiring and encouraging us in our darkest days when we were in opposition. So fear not, my friends. As a former Minister of Health, I can declare to you that the vital signs of the Dominica Labour Party appear very strong and healthy. You have amassed an enviable record of performance and accomplishment under the sterling leadership of Roosevelt Square. I'm told you have done all that is necessary for the renewal of your slate of candidates, and your social and economic policies are always under constant review. These all, ladies and gentlemen, point to a party that's on the move and a party that's definitely going somewhere. Great things are happening here in Dominica, I can see. Ladies and gentlemen, I can see it and I can feel it. You have no reason to second guess it. Stay the course, my brothers and sisters. If it's not broken, leave it alone. If it ain't broken, don't fix it. Again, I like what I see. I like what I feel here at Pointe Michel in Dominica today. Something great is happening. Keep the faith, ladies and gentlemen. Keep the faith. Labour forever. Thank you very much.
Thank you.